Zen. Tonight's Dharma talk is given by Myeong Jin Eunsahn.
It's interesting that what happened earlier happened just before this talk by 15, 20 minutes or so. We got Zoom bombed for the first time in, 5 or 6 years. And it involved someone who was saying who should die and what color their skin should be. And I could have said, oh, it's obvious that he's suffering and it's all empty anyway. And then again, in that dropping ashes on the Buddha sense, it was like, yeah, that doesn't belong here. So he was removed. And I hope he is relieved of his suffering. So the talk is about right speech, ironically enough. And, the Dammapada talks about what qualifies as, I guess, more not right speech than what is right speech. It's one of those things where, as in the case of a lot of things, precepts, and in this case, what qualifies as right speech, it's abstain from false speech, do not tell lies, do not slander others, or speak in such a way that causes disharmony or enmity. Abstain from rude, impolite, or abusive language. Do not indulge in idle talk and gossip. Which is all fine, but with the precepts that we take, we give what the affirmative would be also, in addition to what not to do. Like, honor all life, refrain from killing, for example. We give the example of, you should do this instead of that other thing. That causes harm. That causes suffering. Obviously, abstaining from false speech, in a nutshell, means don't tell lies, right? Exaggerations, that's part of that. Half-truths, little white lies. All that stuff that's not quite true. So the other side of that, of course, is tell the truth. Tell true things. Tell factual, provable things. Not just like opinions. People that are saying they're being brutally honest just means that they have a firmly held opinion that they think is right. Ergo, they get to tell you it, thinking that that's true and they're being honest, which just, no. Incorrect, not right speech. Slandering others, like our Zoom bomber, for example, or speaking in such a way that causes disharmony or enmity. That qualifies for the Zoom bomber also. Was definitely out to cause some enmity. Gossip falls into that category. Don't gossip. Don't troll. How many times do we see, comment after comment that are all out there anonymously, and they are just there to stir the pot, and because you can get away with it. And yeah, somebody will call you on it, but hey, that's just the nature of being a troll, right? Yeah, that wouldn't be right speech, right? Everything from exaggeration, like, this is the best thing I've ever had. Maybe not. You know? Abstaining from divisive speech, or divisive speech if you prefer. Rude, impolite, nasty words. It's all about I in this case, right? I want to hurt you. I want to get a rise out of you. I want to make you feel a certain way. I want to anger you. I. Which leads to another interesting point. This is just a little side tangent, of course. I used to teach a course called Foundational Buddhism. And the text was Thich Nhat Hanh's Heart of the Buddha's Teaching. And on the right speech topic, he goes through a lot of this, obviously these things that comprise right speech, right? And it got to the point where it was talking about, impolite, rude, hurtful speech. And he said something in there to the effect of, will your words hurt someone? And in the quiz for that particular week, I asked the question, can your words hurt someone? And pretty much everybody answered in the affirmative that yes, words can hurt someone. And being the charmer that I am, I pointed out that I could say something that's a little bit off the rails, and some people would be intensely offended. Others could laugh and say, that's Eunsahn, what a jerk. And others might just be neutral altogether. So did my words make them feel bad, good, or indifferent? No. Mine made them feel good, bad, and indifferent. And like I said, charmer that I was, when I explained how mind made the reactions, I of course punctuated it with, or are you too stupid to see that? Which of course elicited either harm, good, or indifference. And I'm pretty sure it did. It elicited something. So yeah, that divisive speech thing, it's it's more the intent of the speaker than the receiver, let's say. It's all about the motivation. Do you intend to hurt someone by saying something? You could just have a really sort of off sense of humor and have like lots of things misinterpreted, and you don't necessarily mean to offend, but it's just one of those things where people might not quite get what you're saying. Just saying. The other one that's interesting, the fourth one, is abstaining from idle chatter. Doom scrolling, making comments, hanging out at the office water cooler, just kind of passing the time. Hey, did you see the Patriots lose last week? Yeah. How about that? Texting incessantly, punctuating every text with lol. You could pretty much point out that, yeah, that's probably idle chatter if you were punctuating with lol every sentence. Right speech in that sense could be right silence, right? If you don't actually need to say something, if you don't have something that is wholesome and will do good rather than harm, if there's something that you can say that's compassionate, great, say it. But if it's just to fill in the space between other people's words, maybe you don't need to say it. Maybe the silence is okay. Another element of right speech is actually right listening. It's not technically one of the Eightfold Path, but let's make that right speech subheading A, right? In the flowchart of right things, this will be like the indented one. If it's an equal participation in a conversation where both people are not coming from the point of I, there's certainly going to be right listening involved on both sides. You could even say this is part of right mindfulness, because you're actually paying attention to what someone else is saying. You are actually understanding what they're saying. If they, for example, are expressing some sort of suffering that they're undergoing, you might want to address that rather than just chattering on. It's important that even though our words can't make someone feel a certain way, when we listen to them intently, mindfully, at least they won't be offended by it, let's say. They won't feel neglected. They won't feel invalidated. Eunsahn had some things to say about this. In Zen, you often hear that the tongue has no bone. And that means that you can say one thing one way at one time, and you can say the entire opposite way some other time, and pretty much mean it both times, but they are 180 degrees in opposition to each other. The tongue is very much going to point any direction that our thoughts point it to. When you're a mature individual, when you've possibly been practicing for a while, you probably have developed a filter of some sort, where you realize that not everything that pops into your head necessarily has to come back out through your mouth. I've had to learn this. Still working on it. Sometimes you just have to keep the cork in the bottle. Don't let all those words spill out all over the place, staining whatever they come in contact with. That's not right speech. If speaking is compassionate, brilliant. Go for it. In fact, if your speech has anything to do with the four immeasurables, go for it. Loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, equanimity. Our speech can all reflect and be reflected by the four immeasurables. So, currently, right speech could be perfected a little bit more. We should be a little bit more cognizant of it. And I want so badly to say, or are you too stupid to see that? But I won't.